Imagine this. You're me, shortly after getting Crunchyroll. I'm looking for something to watch, and then all of a sudden, I remember I really wanted to watch this one show I heard of a while ago. Fullmetal Alchemist. Skip ahead a few months, and here I am, pretty much done with it. So what do I do when I have a new hyperfixation? Well, I turn them into Pokemon. Howdy, hey everyone, I'm Little Yoga Man, and I make funny little creatures. And I also couldn't find any Fakemon based on the characters from Fullmetal Alchemist. So I decided, you know what? I'll do it myself. So I guess all there is to do now is just sit back and enjoy the ride. Now, we can't really make a Fullmetal Alchemist video without using Mr. Fullmetal himself, Edward Elric. If we really look into his character, Edward is really self-conscious about his height, yelling at and attacking anyone that calls him short. So why not make a somewhat small creature? He is also known to create weapons out of the ground, at least in the beginning of the show. He doesn't really do it much in later seasons. This reminded me of how many different corvids make their own tools as well, like crows. Like dropping hard-to-open nuts into traffic and letting the cars break it open for them, or using sticks to get into hard-to-reach places to grab some bugs. It's not exact, but it could work. However, Edward doesn't really wear all that much black like crows and corvids do. To solve this, I decided to base it on a different species of corvid, the blue jay. Yeah, blue jays aren't as well known for their intelligence as crows and ravens are, but it does certainly work. However, I won't be keeping the blue part of blue jays, instead of replacing it with Edward's red coat, making it a red jay, I guess? But I will definitely be keeping that crest of feathers that could resemble Ed's hair. So here's Alcorvid, from Alchemy and Corvid, a flying and steel type. These stubborn yet intelligent Pokemon craft tools from scrap metal and help them hunt. They can understand human speech and despise being called small. The shiny is based on the uniforms of the Amestrian government, as well as actual blue jays, so that's pretty cool. Now, seeing that the show is called Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, we gotta have to make Edward's brother, Alphonse Elric. Unlike Ed, Al's body is kinda trapped, so instead his soul is bound to a suit of armor. When I started thinking about it, the idea was kinda perfect. Golurk, just like Alphonse, is a giant hulking spirit animated by another soul. So why not make this a regional Golurk form? It would be a steel ghost type, duh, and would look kind of just like a fusion between Al and Golurk. Pretty clever idea. I had to replace the yellow seals and spirals on Golurk and replace them with a simplified version of the blood seal, keeping Al's body inside the suit of armor. But for the most part, it's just a color-swapped, kind of spiky Golurk. So, here is Amestrian Golurk, a steel and ghost type. This Pokemon moves around awkwardly, as if this is not its original body. The armor is completely hollow, animated by a formerly deceased human spirit. These Pokemon are often seen working alongside Alcorvid. The shiny is inspired by Barry the Chopper, another human whose soul was transferred into a suit of armor. Now, I also really wanted to do one of the homunculi, but since I didn't want to do all the popular characters in the first video, in case this does end up getting a part 2, I decided to go with the homunculus with the least amount of screen time, Sloth. Despite being pretty much the embodiment of laziness, Sloth is pretty jacked. Being the muscle of the homunculi, Sloth is often seen taking care of physical tasks, like, for example, dragging the tunnel to breaks. However, if he had it his way, he would just sleep all day every day, only doing any work when someone tells him to. So our Sloth is going to be a big, slow physical attacker. And to make things even easier for me, he's even been named after an animal. I hardly have to do a thing. I really wanted to make this a regional form of Slackoth, since it's also a super physically powerful sloth but also is super lazy half the time. But since Alphonse is already a regional form, I didn't want to double up. So here's Lazeloth, from Lazy and Sloth, a fighting and dark type. These Pokemon are unnaturally powerful. They have the ability to crack the earth into wide canyons with a single arm. However, they prefer to slack off all day, only moving from their sleeping spots if absolutely necessary. And the final character for today is Lieutenant Hawkeye. Her design is, frankly, not too original. Her clothing is literally identical to 90% of the major characters in the show. So we'll have to take some more inspiration from her personality, and more notably, her role in the war. Hawkeye is a sniper, both in the Ishvalan War and when Mustang and his troops try to take back Central. I originally wanted to base her off of the mantis shrimp, since their punches can be as strong as bullets, and their powerful eyes could be useful for scouting out targets. But I eventually decided on a different type of shrimp, the pistol shrimp. First of all, a pistol is in fact a type of gun, kind of like a sniper, but they also have one normal-sized claw and one giant claw that I could really easily model after her sniper rifle. And yes, I do know Klotzer is based on a pistol shrimp, but frankly, I don't care. So yes, this is kind of more a sniper Pokemon than a Hawkeye Pokemon, but to counter that, I did give her the patterns of some of her clothes and hair. Shriper is from Shrimp and Sniper and is a water type. This Pokemon shoot rocks out of their long claw at top speeds. They are incredibly loyal, fighting alongside their trainer until the very end. And that's it for today. Sorry it's a bit shorter, but oh well, I've just been kind of busy. But with that being said, see ya, and stay safe.